Hey everybody, KP here. I'm working on a truck staying today, doing an oil change. Figured I'd do a little video. Bring y'all in here. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but right there is the screw for the oil drain. Let's see if I can get it to focus where, and right there is the oil filter. Both of them on the right hand side of the car. Makes it easy to do an oil change. I got a 9/16 socket and ratchet. I'm gonna go break it loose. Make sure when you do this, you let the car set for at least an hour or so. Let the oil all cool off. I stand corrected. It's actually a 13 millimeter. I normally don't wear gloves when I change my oil, but I got a sore on my hand that actually is not wanting to heal properly, so I'm wearing gloves. I'm slowly unscrewing this, so I'm trying not to let it come flowing out like crazy, but that's just me. Almost there. Now I let the oil drip off my hand. Man, that oil is black. Almost blacker than my soul. Gotta keep adjusting it because it keeps wanting to drip everywhere else but in the pan. As you can see, I got some spillage here. Let me get a rag right quick. That way I'm not making too much of a mess. I should have cleaned up the road a little bit, make it easier on myself to maneuver my creeper along. You're gonna want to wait till you don't see no more oil coming out. Still got a little dribble going through there. These are good things to know, so you can actually do your own oil changes. That way you can save yourself some money. Just some few drops. Save yourself some money doing your oil change. Plus, most auto parts stores let you bring the old oil back so they can recycle it. The oil and the oil filter. Let me show you something too. You don't always have to, but there's a, let me get over. There's a bushing on here. It's like a washer, but it's actually a crush washer. If you see your screw, bolt, whatever you want to call it, leaking from the oil pan, if you go ahead and tighten it up and it still leaks, you got to change this out. Still put it. All right. We'll clean that up some. It's still dripping. I noticed I got an oil leak on here. I know exactly where it's coming from. It's coming from my valve cover gaskets. The car is 17 years old, and all it's ever had was basically oil changes and stuff. About a month ago, I had to change out the starter. The starter was the original. It still had the Ford Motor Company logo on the side of it. It was pretty cool. It lasted that long. Drip, 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 drip. All right. That should be everything. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that off again. Push my oil container out the way. Wipe up any kind of oil that might have gotten on suspension parts or body mounts, anything like that. All right. And you get your ratchet and socket, reverse it, so you can tighten it back up. Still dripping a little bit. You don't want to tighten it too tight because this is one of those type of oil pans that will snap. All right. Now that's done. Let me readjust my camera. Right there is my oil filter. And since I'm left-handed, I'm going to have to turn around and turn it with my strong hand. And it's also a good idea to keep your oil pan to catch the used oil underneath here when you take out your oil filter, because it's got plenty of oil in it and it reduces spillage as long as you can get it down without turning it over and set it upside down so all the oil drains out of the filter into your pan. Here's a little better view. No, I have no affiliation with STP or any oil companies or anything like that. It's just something I used. And as you can see, the black part of the bottom of the oil filter, it's textured so you can get a better grip. Most of the time you can get it off by hand, but sometimes they get on there too tight. People put them on too tight, or the rubber gasket that's on the top of the oil filter doesn't have enough lubrication on it and it starts to stick, or the rubber gasket actually peels off when you tighten it up, causing an oil leak. So always keep an eye out for that. Well, I can't get a good angle. There it is. I need to put my oil pan over some. There we go. You should always turn it towards the driver's side of the car. If it's on the right hand side of the car, and I got oil coming out. There it is. Just like that. And you can see the oil coming out. As you can see here, I got some oil that came off the oil filter. It's always best to wipe it off, like I said earlier. That way you won't have that annoying oil burn smell after your oil change. Here's my oil and oil filter. This car requires 5W30 oil. S2XL is the oil filter. Yeah, they're both STP, but that's what I got. That's what I use. No affiliation. Go ahead and open up the filter. And there's your oil filter. Let's do a side-by-side comparison size. Remember that rubber gasket I was talking about? This is your gasket. You want to put some oil across the top like that, and then screw it back on. Look at the other one. No matter how long you let it drain for, it's still going to have oil left in it, which I'm going to go ahead and clean this up after a little while and put it back in the box. But I'm having it sitting up like that so any oil does not drain out. And I'm having a plastic bag and bring it back to the auto parts store. First, got to put fresh oil on this one. Alright, got some oil on my finger. Just want to rub a light coat around it. Got to get some more because there's not really a lot on there. I just went ahead and add some more. And now we're good to go to put this back on. As you can see right here, my camera would focus. This right here is where you screw your new oil filter on. On Ford, they put it like this. To make it a little easier to get in. All right. Here we go. Line it up. You'll feel when it starts to take. See? Then all you want to do is hand tighten it. Because if you tighten it more than hand tight, it'll be more of a pain in the backside when you go to take it off again. As you can see, I got the ball in ramps. You can do it with jack stands too, but I have car ramps. You always want to put your emergency brakes on and chock the back tire so it doesn't roll off on you. As you can see, here's the oil filler right here, oil filler cap. This helps you remember what type of oil you got, or you can always look it up online. Got my funnel, even though it's not the right style of funnel for this car, but it works. You don't want to pour it too fast because it'll start backing up on you. It will take a little while for it to go from the head of the engine all the way down to the pan. So give it a few before you check to see if there's an oil leak. Do not start the car without oil because it can cause damage. I normally give it about 5 minutes for the oil to drain down before starting the car up, to check for oil leaks from the oil filter or whatever. My next project on here is changing out the spark plugs and wires, doing a tune-up. I like to make sure I got all the oil I can get out of the container into my engine, out of the container itself. That way I know I got the right amount. Then I'll come back and check it with a dipstick. Let that set for about 30 seconds or so. Then I'm going to take the funnel out and put the cap back on. This here engine is a 4-liter Ford V6 engine. Really good engine. I'm surprised it held up as long as it has. Of course, about 17 years old. And like I said earlier, I just changed the starter out on this thing. And it was still original parts. But when I got the car, I drove it for a while, then all of a sudden alternator goes out, then the battery goes out. That's pretty much all I changed out, other than a couple of suspension parts, which I do have to change out. Lower control arms on both sides, struts, a few odds and ends here and there. Alright, let's check for oil leaks. Yeah, this is a dirty engine, needs to be cleaned. But here's your dipstick. That's how you check your oil. And we'll go ahead and do that. I like to wipe it off before I check my oil. Get rid of any residue from the previous oil. Stick it in there, let it sit for 30 seconds or so, then pull it right back out and check. As you can see, there's oil on the dipstick. It appears to be full, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off again and check it again. Better to be safe than sorry. See it drip off, and it is full. You also got to factor in that it doesn't have any oil in the oil filter yet. So I've already looked under. I'll see nothing dripping underneath the car. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up and see if we got any oil leaks. You can hear a little bit of ticking from the oil not circulating through yet. Alright, let's see. I don't see no oil leaks anywhere from where the drain plug or oil filter yet. After you let it run for about 5 minutes or so, let it run through its cycles. You can check the oil again, let it settle back down. And in case you're wondering, my hood latch has issues causing that accident that I had on the causeway. Hear how the car is idled down? But you can still hear a little bit of the lifters rattling. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it here and let it run and then check it again. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes.
How did that guy hold?
Now I gotta let it sit for 5 minutes and put the oil drain back in and we'll check the oil. As we're waiting, I figured I'd show you my oil pan, my catch can. It's got a screwed up cap on it, but I'm gonna get another one soon. That's how you can drain it into your container that you got the new oil out of. As you see, I'm still draining the original oil filter. The cap is a little bit bigger on the oil container than it is on my oil catch. You can actually pour it straight into there, but I don't want to make a mess. I always use a funnel. It also has a cap that goes on top of it to help keep the oil in there in case you don't have a container to put your old oil in. Alright, it's been 5 minutes. We'll check the oil. I always wipe it off because with the pressures in the engine, it makes the oil go all over the place. Pull it out a second time. See oil dripping off of it. As you can see, it's still full, good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and check one more time before I take it off my ramps. Just make sure there ain't no oil leaks. We're good to go. Nope, no oil leaks. So another successful oil change. But today I went to AutoZone to get some parts to do my oil change and a tune-up. I needed to get a valve cover gaskets. They didn't have any, so I'm going to check around so I can change those out. Thinking about doing a video on doing a tune-up by just changing out your spark plugs and wires. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I'm going to do the job no matter what. Hope this helps you out. This is more for educational purposes. Maybe it'll help you be not afraid of changing out your own oil, doing something that can actually save you money in the long run. Until next video, later.